In this video, we are going to learn all about kites. A kite is a special type of quadrilateral. That means it has 4 sides. And what makes this quadrilateral a kite is that it has 2 pairs of adjacent congruent sides. So 2 pairs of congruent sides that happen to be next to each other. That's what the word adjacent means. It means next to. So the 2 sides that are congruent are touching each other. Now a kite has some interesting properties and parts that we need to know the names of. The first is that the angles that are between the congruent sides, so this one and this one, are each called vertex angles. They are not going to be the same measurement. The other angles, the non-vertex angles, so that would be this one right here and this one, they actually are congruent. So one property of a kite is that the non-vertex angles will always be congruent. Another property has to do with diagonals. So if we draw in the diagonals, one thing we should notice just by looking at it is that those diagonals are perpendicular. So that means that they meet at a right angle. So the diagonals are perpendicular is another important property. Remember that that symbol for perpendicular is the upside down T. Now, while these vertex angles were not congruent, when we have the diagonals drawn in, that long diagonal actually bisects the vertex angles. So what that means is that this angle is congruent to this angle over here. It's been cut in 2. And similarly, this angle will be congruent to that angle there. So the diagonal bisects the vertex angles. The other diagonal does not bisect the non-vertex angles. The last property is that the long diagonal, so I mean this diagonal here, bisects the short diagonal right here. So what that means is that this segment will be congruent to this segment. So the long diagonal bisects the short diagonal. So that's what a kite is. It's quadrilateral with 2 pairs of adjacent congruent sides. Don't forget that word adjacent means next to. And it has 4 important properties: that its non-vertex angles are congruent, its diagonals are perpendicular, the diagonal bisects the vertex angles, and also the long diagonal bisects the short diagonal.